You know, when I came across the Umbrella Academy on Netflix, I didn't know how much to expect since I know nothing about the source material. And I'm kind of a bit tired of superhero TV series, and after a few episodes, I wasn't that impressed. But I kept watching until the end, and I have to say, I kind of dig it. Before going deep into what I liked and what I didn't like, click on that subscribe button not to miss anything. I talk about series and movies pretty much every week. With that being said, minor spoilers for the Umbrella Academy ahead, so tread carefully. The series starts right off the bat with some weird ass shit, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. I actually was watching the pilot with my brother and he couldn't finish it. It was just too weird for him, and that's someone who loves comic book TV shows, so that should tell you something. Yes, this is not for everyone. You have to be someone who is really into weird comic book stuff to appreciate this. With that being said, the series looked great. The cinematography is amazing. After Doom Patrol and now the Umbrella Academy, it is obvious that comic book TV series are also evolving. It's not just the movies. The series overall has a very comic book feel to it, and I think it works really well when it focuses on that and its weirdness. When it takes itself too seriously, it doesn't work at all, and unfortunately I think sometimes it falls into that trap, trying to mix the feels most Netflix shows have with what they were initially going for, and it took me out sometimes, to be perfectly honest with you. What I liked the most though was its tone that felt a lot like if the X-Men had the Guardian of the Galaxy tone, but instead of being a normal family, they were just messed up in every possible way. My favorite aspect of the series has to be some of the characters. Not all of them, but a lot of them I really dug. Number 5 being the best in my opinion. The young actor, I believe his name is Aidan Gallagher, he was phenomenal. At first, when I heard that he was an adult trapped in a young body, I was afraid he was going to be extremely cringy, but the kid sold me on that. The way he talked and moved felt really like an adult, and he was a standout for me. I just wish he was more involved in the action sequences because every time something was happening, he was almost never there, and that frustrated me a little bit. The other character I liked was Klaus. It's funny because he was a bit annoying at the beginning of the series, but at the end he was the one with the most depth to his character, and he was just so much fun. Most of the funny moments in the series came from him, and he really evolved throughout the course of the show, and it was very apparent. The rest of the family though are a bit less interesting. Luther was a bit too whiny for a leader, Diego was way too over the top and his character lacked depth. Allison was okay but not great. Also, why would they choose the Asian character out of all to sacrifice? Because Ben, one of the brothers, was given nothing. We don't even know how he died? They could have written him off the fucking script and nothing in the story would have changed. Unacceptable. Ellen Page as Vanya was great and really reminded me of Jean Grey in the Dark Phoenix saga, which is funny since Ellen Page used to play Kitty Pryde in the X-Men movies, but my problem is when she unleashes her power she's barely even a character anymore and feels a lot like the big boss in the finale, which was very disappointing. Pogo the talking ape looked incredible. It was Planet of the Apes levels of CGI and I loved it. His character was also pretty cool and I liked how he was a bit like a grandfather to these people. Characters I didn't like: the henchmen, Hazel and Chasha. I mean, Mary J. Blige as a cold-blooded killer didn't do it for me at all.
Broken heart again, another lesson learned.
I mean, she's a fine actress. She's not one of those singers who can act, but she was just miscast here, and she took me out every time she appeared on screen. I was never sold. And that romance between Hazel and Donut Lady, ridiculously underdeveloped. If you're not going to develop it, write it off the fucking script, because that shit held the series back in so many ways. The action sequences are pretty good, but they could have used more of it just to make the series more exciting and showcase some of the powers, because I had to wait until like episode 4 to understand what they were fully capable of, but even then, they didn't do a very good job justifying what made them such a great and special team in the first place. I mean, how do they work together? There's one scene when they stop robbers as kids, but that's it. Most of the time they talk about the past missions, but it's never showed. How does Cloud seeing dead people help them on the field? How do they coordinate their attacks? And most importantly, why aren't they celebrities in present day? You want to tell me in the world we live in today, if there are special children out there saving the day, people will just ignore they ever existed once they grow up? Sure, people talk about them casually from time to time, but even their sister wrote a freaking book about them that no one read. How is that even possible? Guys, at the end, the Umbrella Academy had some cool characters, some great characters, some bad ones, some underdeveloped ones, some great cinematography, great CGI, a weak finale but a promising future. I didn't think it was bad, I just have mixed feelings about it, but overall I enjoyed it a lot. Anyways, thank you as always for watching. If you like this, subscribe, like and share at will. Follow me on Twitter, Letterboxd, and recently I got on Instagram as well, so follow me there. Some more cool stuff coming up very soon as always. As for me, I'll see you around. Bye bye.